So I'm 28 years old, and at this point, I run a successful real estate agency business. I've been in great shape my entire 20s, and my mind is in a better spot than it has ever been in my life. And if I were given just a few minutes to give some advice to my 21-year-old self to help him achieve what I have achieved faster and more pain-free, this video is what I would tell him. So what I'm going to do is read off a post that I put inside of my school community that breaks all of this down, and then we're going to discuss it in a bit of detail. Let's get into it. So I titled the post Brutally Honest Advice for My 21-Year-Old Self. This is going to be a bit of a longer post. I went into a lot more detail than I expected, but I think there's going to be a lot of game here for you guys who really want to level up. If I had 12 minutes to tell my 20-year-old self everything he needed to know, here's what I'd tell him. Number one, this is going to take a lot longer than you think. At 21, I had just gotten my real estate license. I had early success, and within a couple months, I closed my first deal, making me $3,000, and quickly afterwards closed another deal worth $11,000. It was the most money I'd ever had by a long shot, and I thought everything was on the up. I was investing in stocks, took a couple trips, and started investing more into my fitness. All the kinds of things a young hustler destined for greatness would do. But within a couple months, one of the stocks I'd bought had plummeted to zero, losing me thousands of dollars overnight. A complete shock to someone who, until only recently, had never even had $1,000 in his bank account. I had no new real estate business and began to realize I had no idea what I was doing and had only succeeded off good fortune. Yes, I had worked for the success, but I had no idea how to replicate it. Over the next few months, my bank account dwindled down to zero. I got involved with a woman who distracted me from my career and ultimately cheated on me with a man who was older and more established than me. I ended up moving back in with my parents and thought the world had ended. I had an ugly falling out with almost all of my friends during this time as they backstabbed me and lied about me. The big riff was really triggered by me changing and not sharing their lifestyle of smoking and playing video games anymore. A lot of the lessons I share on the channel about cutting out low-quality friends, avoiding women until you've improved yourself, and focusing on eating the pile of shit in front of you come from the pain I went through at this time in my life. This was very, painful, but honestly very informative about a lot of big lessons I learned and things that I could have done better that ultimately I wish I could pass down to my 21-year-old self so you could avoid this kind of stuff. And so I try to pass this stuff on to you guys here on the channel. I was in total disbelief at the turn my life had taken in a few months. From more money than I'd ever had, dating a hot chick, and traveling, to crash landing at my parents' house with no money to my name, cheated on, and my self-esteem at an all-time low. I was looking up at the sky asking God why this had happened. In reality, I was just a complete beginner and made all the beginner mistakes. I had no idea how to actually build a business. I acted like a boy with this woman, falling helplessly in love with her. I also fell for the rookie mistake of having expectations that didn't match reality. Losing money in the stock market is a part of the game. Human nature is such that most people are not good people and you shouldn't have them in your life. Women don't want men who act like mushy beta males. Lessons hard learned, and they aren't learned overnight. At 21, my goal was to be retired off passive income from real estate investments by 26 and have a wife and kid at the time too. This was an absurd goal to have and shows how easy I thought this was all going to be. What I would tell my 21-year-old self is that he's a white belt at the game of life. That means he's going to make white belt mistakes, which is basically every mistake you can possibly make. And this is just an important thing for you guys to understand because, the thing I think that I struggled with at this period was thinking that I was old. Like, you're 21, and if you're 21, that's all you know. And so 21 feels like you're kind of old at this point. You've gone through high school, you've graduated, you feel like you're supposed to be this adult who has it all figured out. And so the idea that at 21 you are literally just a beginner at life, it's like hard to comprehend that, but it's actually the truth because genuinely, like, everything before about 21 is kind of like the sandbox. Like, you're in the tutorial phase of life. You're not even playing the game yet. And so at 21, I thought I was supposed to know the answers. I thought I was supposed to be this like completed individual who understood the game. And a lot of guys, I think, fall for this. And this is why they think they need success really fast. When in reality, it's like, dude, you're a fucking white belt at this shit. Really. Like you have no emotional maturity. You just don't realistically. You have very little skills. You have probably not built your body. Like I mean, even now at 28, I'm in a spot where, like, I noticed around 27 my physique changing in a way that was beyond just training. Like, my muscle density had gone up. Like, my body started looking more vascular and like harder. And like, I would just be stronger without really like a good reason for it. It wasn't like I was going on a bulk. I would just be stronger. And I think the biggest reason for that is just like your body gets denser as you age. You harden up. I think truthfully, I think a man's prime is really like 27 to 40. Honestly, like that's what I'm starting to figure out here. I've heard some other guys who are in their mid 30s talking about, I've never felt better. You know what I mean? Like, as long as you do the work as a guy, most guys have completely crashed their lives out by 30. And so, like, they never experienced this prime. But realistically, like, if you do the work on yourself, you hit your prime around 27, 28, and it rides until about 40. That's what I'm kind of noticing here. And you see this with athletes too, like LeBron James now playing into his early 40s at a very high level still. Cristiano Ronaldo still playing soccer. I don't know how old he is, but he's pretty old at this point for an athlete, that is. Like, this is kind of your prime, right? It's like that phase. Most of the time you don't hit it until about 28, and then it kind of goes away around 40, And so I'm noticing this. But at 21, you just don't grasp this. You're just like, I'm old. It needs to happen now. And also, when you're 21, a year feels like a long time. I think it's something to do with your brain, but like as you age, like years just go by faster. Like a year just it feels like I just blinked and it was January, like not that long ago. You know what I mean? And just like now it's September as I'm making this video. And it's just like I remember thinking a year was so fucking long, right? And it's like in high school, they have you on this thing where it's like every semester the classes change, you're constantly progressing, you're taking a test every few weeks. Like you feel like things should happen fast. And so at 21, you're like, I've been around a long time. This needs to happen fast. When in reality, like, dude, you're just a fucking white belt. And this is something I would have to sit my 21-year-old self down and tell him. I'd be like, dude, like, you have no idea how, like, dumb you are. You know what I mean? And like 21-year-olds are just dumb, right? No offense to you guys. I'm not saying that in like a way to put you down. It's just like we're all idiots at 21. Like, you just have no comprehension on reality. You've just not dealt with enough. Everything's the first time you're seeing it, and so it feels like a big fucking deal to you, and it's just like it's this thing, and so you got to understand it. And this is what I would tell my 21-year-old self. It takes the average Brazilian jiu-jitsu practitioner 10 to 15 years to get his black belt. If you think of it that way, I won't be a black belt at the game of life until my early to mid 30s, and I think I'm actually on pace for that. Like, this is actually some sort of law to this, I'm realizing, because like, I would not claim to be a black belt at the game of life. And when I refer to the game of life, I refer to really just, dealing with the challenges of life, the mindset, the discipline, the focus, the career ability, and that ability to network and just understand how to succeed and get results in life and understand how to play this game at a high level. Like, I would not claim to be a black belt right now. I would say I'm at best a brown belt. I'm probably a purple belt, right? Like, I've got some skill. I've definitely developed myself in certain areas. I've put in a lot of time. I'm definitely not a white belt, but I'm definitely not a black belt either. And when I think about it, I'm like, yeah, give me another 5 years, maybe 7 years, and I'll probably be a black belt. You know what I mean? But it's just like, you realize it's kind of like this law to it. And you'll see this also from people who are successful young, is they always started really young. Like Ilia Topuria, who's 28 years old and just became the double champ in the UFC. He was Greco-Roman wrestling at 4 years old. So like, you think about from 4 to 28, right? It kind of makes sense. It's a lot of time that has to be put in. And most of us don't start this journey until our early 20s at best. Most people realistically don't start until their late 20s. You get what I'm saying? But you just got to start and understand you're going to be a white belt and understand this takes time. The quicker my 21-year-old self could have accepted that he was a white belt, the quicker he would have stopped expecting big results. Instead, he would have just gotten down to the business of getting better. That's the white belt mentality. You have to just be constantly looking to get better, right? Like in my boxing classes right now with my coach, my goal is to eventually compete in some fights, but right now I'm not even thinking about that. Like, I know eventually I'll be there, and I mean, I'm a lot better than I was, right? But it's just that mindset of showing up every time and just keep getting better. right? And if you've got that white belt mentality, you'll actually progress a lot faster than if you're rolling up thinking you should be a black belt. You know what I mean? You're not, right? And if you can get that into your head and just understand, I just need to keep showing up and getting better, and the results will take care of themselves over time if I do that. My 21-year-old self would have expected to make mistakes instead of thinking something was wrong when they happened. This is a lesson I truly didn't understand until last year. I spent most of my early and mid 20s thinking something was wrong with the fact that I wasn't succeeding. Now I just realize I was still a beginner. Number two, the second thing I would tell my 21-year-old self: this is going to take a lot longer than you think, but it can happen much quicker if you avoid these three things. The first one, distraction. If you're a young, ambitious guy, you want everything and you want it now. This can be good, but what comes with it is distracted focus. You have 10 different business ideas in your head while also obsessing over looks maxing, dating, fitness, and other side projects. Plus, most guys haven't even cut out their shit friends, so they have that pulling at their time as well. Distractions will slow you down more than you can imagine. It's not just the time spent on something, it's the way it affects your focus that really hurts you. Focusing deeply on something is the only way to make progress, make massive progress, or really just progress in general. And focus is not a light switch you can turn on and off at will. With lots of things, you have to sit with it for hours or days before the focus really starts to click in. And I'm not talking about the kind of focus where you concentrate on a task. I'm talking about the kind of focus where your mind is consumed with something for an extended period of time. This is the time where the breakthroughs happen and where everything clicks together. Having more than one goal doesn't just make each thing operate at 50% of their potential. It's more like they both operate at 10%. The loss of focus switching back and forth between things is brutal and will cost you big time. This confuses people because they will think, do I have to spend all day working on one thing? But that's not actually the point of distraction. It's not about laboring 24/7 on one thing. It's about only having one goal you're trying to achieve, one thing you're trying to create in your life. It's the distracted focus, not work, that hurts you. This is really important to understand. Like it's a really like a working class mindset to think of the actual labor as the work. And meaning by that, like, the working class people, they get paid hourly rates, or they have some salaried position where they have to show up for certain amounts of time to get paid. And so they think that work equals income, and they think work, like active, like doing work with your hands or something like that, equals the productive thing, when in reality the productive thing is focus. Focus is far more productive than just doing shit, right? Action without focus is not that valuable. Like it's truthfully, like you will do more harm than good a lot of times just taking action without focus. And so what I've had to realize is that distraction is not about like doing a bunch of shit and like you should be only doing one thing. It's about only concentrating your attention on one thing. It's about the thoughts. It's about what are you thinking about? What are you, it's about that, it's about that time in the evening when you get done with whatever you were doing for the day, and instead of cutting on Netflix or, trying to talk to some chick, you're still thinking about something that you want to achieve. It's those moments. It's the focus. It's like the more you marinate in this shit, the more like great ideas come out of it. And the higher level you rise as a human being, the more that results are dictated based on focus rather than labor, right? Like the labor guy gets paid $15 an hour. The CEO gets paid millions. And it's really because the CEO's job is decision making. The CEO has to make effective decisions. It's about focus. A CEO might need to spend literally 8 hours in his office apparently doing nothing. Like people would be like, he's not doing anything, but he's really thinking and he's trying to figure out a problem. That's actually where the power comes in, and that is where distraction robs you, because you have to, like, it takes a long time to get your brain really wrapped around something to that level where you're that concentrated to where good ideas start coming out. And so if you're distracting yourself all the time by other focuses, this is what will rob you more than anything. It's not about you have to sit there and, bang out pieces of content 24/7, or make calls 24/7 if you're in sales, or apply for jobs 24/7 if you're trying to get a job. It's about, where is your attention at? And you'll find that what happens with this is just like things click in a way. It's like if you're applying for jobs, like, if you apply for the jobs and then you just go back to whatever the fuck you're doing, then like you applied for the jobs, cool. But like if you apply for the jobs and then you sit there and you're still thinking about like, how can I get this job that I want? How can I get the job I want, and all this kind of stuff. And now you're thinking about, well, how can I, improve my presentation? And now you're watching videos about how you can show up well for an interview, what kind of things you should be doing to prep for the interview and show up and crush the interview. You're thinking about those kinds of things. You're thinking about, well, if I want this job, maybe I should go ahead and have the skills for it now instead of waiting for on-the-job training. You start thinking about all these things and you're baking them in, and it's like a huge multiplier on your success, is all this time just thinking about it. And the focus, that's the important part. It's not about labor, it's about focus. And distraction is not about you doing something else. Like, you can theoretically, like, you can go to the gym and still be thinking about your big goal, right? Like, see, it's not about what you're doing with the time, it's about where's your mind at? What are you focused on? Distraction robs your focus more than your actions, okay? It's the distracted focus, not work, that hurts you. Getting preoccupied with a chick isn't hurting you because you aren't working. It's hurting you because you aren't focused. It takes days of thinking and turning a goal over in your mind for the gold to start coming out. 1 hour of work with clarity is worth 100 hours of distracted work. The hard part is getting the clarity, and that requires focus. So avoiding distraction isn't about working like a dog 24/7. It's about guarding your focus intensely. One goal at a time, and everything in your life needs to revolve around it. This doesn't mean you don't go to the gym. The gym is something you show up to for an hour and then leave. It doesn't distract you the way other things do, but some things to definitely give up are side hustles or multiple businesses. You need one business focus. Everything else is on maintenance mode. This is important too, because focus is the part that matters. You can take action on things in a very maintenance way, right? Like, I'm not personally right now trying to go on a massive fitness growth phase. Like, I'm happy where I'm at physically. And so like I show up to the gym and I just train and then I leave. And back when I had other jobs, right, and I was trying to build businesses, I would show up to the job basically on autopilot. I wasn't trying to like climb the ladder. I would just show up to get paid and then leave, but my mind wasn't consumed with this thing all the time. And that's the important part. Like, if you've got a job but you've got a business you're trying to build, understand, show up to the job, get the job done, but just don't be like thinking about like, how can I climb the corporate ladder and do this other business? It's like, pick one. Which one do you want to do? The other one needs to be on maintenance mode, or just get rid of it altogether, right? Because it's just a distraction of focus, and we want to eliminate as much distraction of focus as possible. This has been tough for me, balancing between YouTube and real estate. I've had to realize YouTube has to go on maintenance mode. I'm not going to quit uploading, but I realized that the focus it would require to have faster growth would come at the cost of focus on real estate, which is a better use. This is something I still struggle with today, and it's hard. It's a hard balancing act to keep your focus where it belongs, and you'll only appreciate how important this is once you've had clarity and lost it, guys. Like, this honestly was the motivation for me to make this video, is I wanted to talk about this point in particular. I realized that, today on my schedule was to make a YouTube video, and I realized, the audience that you guys are, that I talk to here on YouTube, and the topics we discuss are a lot different than the audience I'm talking to when I talk real estate and when I create the content on my Instagram. And I realized that getting my head in the right space to create something really good that was just going to be like game changing and really build like a really coherent, strong brand that's going to keep growing, I was like, this is going to take me days to get my head back into this. Like, it's hard to understand until you've had like a very cognitive heavy heavy job to understand how hard it is to get, like, just to get it all to click in your head. And so I started doing this and I was like, I'm going to spend all day just trying to get my head back into groove with this shit, with the YouTube, just to have to turn around and do it again tomorrow for real estate. And I'm like wasting so much time doing this. And so I realized, like, for YouTube, I'm not quitting it, but I realized I have to come on here and really just give you guys some game. And that's basically what I'm going to do. My focus with the YouTube right now, for those of you who appreciate the value is still going to be there, but it's just going to be really focused on, I'm just going to give you guys some game that I'm dealing with in my life, some things that can hopefully help you guys. I'm not really right now thinking about blowing up the YouTube channel. I just want it to consistently continue to grow and do well. We're making some progress and all that, and that's great, but it's just not the thing, that, because putting my focus on this at the expense of real estate would be a bad strategic move for me right now. The time will come, and this is something I thought about today as well, is like, a lot of times we've got these goals and we've got these things we want, and it's just like a hard pill to swallow, is that a lot of times it's just not time yet. But the thing is, the even harder pill to swallow is that it will never be time if you don't put it on the back burner and focus on what it is time for right now. You know what I mean? So, like, I think about, for my YouTube channel, like, the ultimate vision of it would probably be a lot more lifestyle content. Like, I would have a camera person who went around with me while I did shit in my life, and it would be kind of like POV kind of content, that kind of stuff. But I'm not hiring a cameraman right now. It's not the time in my life for that. That would be a bad use of my money at this point. And so I'm not even going to do that right now. You know what I mean? And so it's like, why, like, I have to focus on the thing that will get me there, which is I have to get paid more in my real estate career, because that's the thing that's going to finance the next thing. You know what I mean? And so you have to understand, like, organizing this like like building blocks essentially, and understanding, where does my focus need to go right now? And so YouTube's in a spot where what I'm going to do is I'm going to come on here and just dump value to you guys, basically just give you guys some game from my perspective and shit I'm dealing with in my life. Hopefully it helps you guys. I'm not particularly worried about if the channel blows up right now. I'll deal with that later. And I had to understand that, because I just realized if I try to blow up a YouTube channel and blow up a real estate business at the same time, I'm not going to blow either of them up. So I had to make a choice here. And this is just, it's a hard pill to swallow, especially if you're ambitious and you want to do a lot of shit. But like, the quicker you can get this into your head, the better you're going to do, because you can knock shit out pretty quickly if you just get focused. It doesn't take that long to make big jumps. Just take responsibility for the situation you're in and decide, I'm going to fix this one thing right now. And then once you fix it, move on to the next one. And the good news is also, as you do this, you know, it's like, to make big progress in life, you have to really focus. But once you've made the big jump, you can usually maintain your progress on autopilot, right? So like, if you figure out how to make $10,000 a month in a business, and you understand the tools and the pieces, and you've put them all into place, you can usually kind of cruise off it for the most part. Like, you still have to work, obviously. Like, you have to do the basic shit and keep showing up. But like, you don't have to keep dedicating so much focus to it anymore. Like, it will stay where you put it for the most part. Like, this is with fitness, right? Like, you might need a lot of focus to get yourself to figure out how to track calories and diet and eat right and do all that kind of stuff, and train right and all of that. But once you kind of figure it out, like, to me at this point, like, it's just second nature. You know what I mean? Like, I can have a physique that's really good without really much effort at all. I mean, I just do the shit that I'm supposed to do, and I don't have to think about it. You know what I mean? So that's the good news to this. But in the short term, you have to have one big thing you're focusing on, nothing else. Like, this is the thing that we're thinking about. If I go to the gym, my mind isn't really like consumed with being the greatest bodybuilder. It's just I show up, train, leave, right? My mind is still on the one big goal, which right now for me is really getting my real estate business to around like 20,000 to 40,000 per month consistently. If I can get it to that point, and I've got the metrics in place, I'm tracking it well, and I understand the business well, and like, I can kind of predict the future a bit more, which is difficult to do in a real estate business. Once I get to that point, then I think it'll be, you know, I'll figure out what the next move is. It might be time for me to hire a cameraman. It might be time for the next thing. I'm not exactly sure what it'll look like, but right now that's the big focus point for me in my life. And you really just have to have one, guys. It's so important. The next big distraction that you got to cut out, women. Nothing will derail your focus like women. Avoid chasing and focusing on women. If a woman comes into your life that really vibes with you and it doesn't distract you, then you can pursue it. But this isn't common, right? Like, do not fall, because like, guys will just like The big distractor here isn't necessarily women, right? It's like it's the Googling and YouTubing all the shit about how to be attractive to women. It's the looks maxing. It's the watching all these videos about female nature. It's the fucking dating apps. It's the obsessing over the pictures. And like, again, I've done this stuff before, right? And like, I'm at a phase now where like I can sort of do a little bit of that. I'm not chasing them at all, but like I think at this point in my life, like it wouldn't distract me for me to have a woman in my life because I've matured enough that I think I can deal with that fine. But like the point is just like all this shit where you're constantly thinking about getting them and you're putting a lot of effort into it mentally, like that is the distraction. If you just are dating a woman and she vibes with you and she gets along with you and she's not interfering with your life, that's fine. But it's just very uncommon that that's actually going to happen for you. And also the thing is, a lot of you guys who are watching this, you probably haven't matured enough to be able to handle that. Like you will just get too derailed by a woman. And so you got to be like honest with yourself. Like you can't, like if you're telling yourself, oh yeah, I can focus on both, but then like all your time is spent wondering why she hasn't texted you back yet, then you can't focus on both and you got to cut one out. You get what I'm saying? So like this is the big key with the women. Next one. Anyone who isn't thinking like you has to get cut out. Anyone who isn't thinking like you is a distraction, even if it's your family or your best friend. These people will distract you without meaning to. And also, you won't even be present when you are with them because you'll know deep down you're wasting your time. Like they'll be talking to you and like you won't even be paying attention because you know you should be thinking about something else. You're feeling like you've got all this other stuff to be doing, right? Like I have a hard time, truthfully, like talking to a lot of people because my mind is just elsewhere. It's very hard for me to like give a shit what anyone has to say. And I feel bad about that, honestly, but it's just like, it's just the level of focus that is required. Like there's only like 3 or 4 people I can realistically talk to and be engaged with because everybody else is talking about some shit I just don't care about. I'm like football, I could give a rat's ass. You know what I mean? Like it's just like shit like that or like what they've got going on. I'm like, I wish you well, but like I'm just focused and this is hard, right? And so like, you got to be like, there's certain people in your life that you can't completely cut out, right? Like most part, like you probably don't want to cut your parents out completely if they were good to you and stuff like that. But like you do have to really like minimize that time. And anybody who's not essential to your life, who's not an asset, has to get cut. They've got to get cut. There's no reason to have them in your life. Okay, real talk. Number 2 thing that can make this a lot faster if you avoid it is trying to control everything. Trying to control things will make things take way longer. Your job is to set a goal of something you'd like to bring into your life and then focus on doing the best in the moment. The outcome is out of your control. This has taken me years to fully understand, and I still struggle with it. The ego wants to control everything for its schemes, but the ego is actually powerless, and this disconnect produces a lot of mental turmoil. The ego has something it wants, and so it grips tightly to everything, trying to force it to go the way it wants it to go. This leads to fear of loss, a feeling of powerlessness, and a stifled behavior. You get stiff and uptight by trying to control what you cannot control. I would tell my 21-year-old self that he has to let go. He has to trust that life is on his side and that he'll be fine regardless of what happens. I tell him all he has to do is find something inspiring he wants to create and then do his best each day. The outcomes are not for us to decide. Paradoxically, by doing this, it makes things go better. When you aren't trying to control if a woman likes you or not, she's a lot more likely to like you. If you are okay if people don't view you the way you want to be viewed, you'll act a lot more naturally around them. On an interview or sales call, if you genuinely say, I'd like this to go well, but if it doesn't, I'll be fine, things will go a lot better for you. I've spent most of my life trying to control everything, only to find that life is much better and things will go your way more often if you just let go and trust that life is on your side. This one is so hard for me to get, guys. I still struggle with this, really. Like, I am such a control freak about everything. And I just keep realizing more and more that like, you just cannot control the outcomes of shit. You know what I mean? And it's like a weird paradox and it's really hard to like get your head around because like on one level, it's like, yeah, you can control it because like you like if you don't take action on something, you're not going to get it, right? If you don't go to the gym and eat right, you will not be in shape. But there's this weird thing where it's like it's really just about what is the focus on? It's like, are you attached to it? It's really about attachment. Are you attached to the outcome? Because when you're attached to it, you're very needy and you're very controlling and you're trying to force it to happen, and you can't force anything. That's the thing you cannot do. You can act in such a way that things will happen for you, but you cannot force them to happen. And the more time you spend trying to force things to happen, the more they run away from you. And this sounds woo woo, but it's just a fact. Like, I've just seen this in everything, guys. Like, the girl that you really want, that you're trying to make it happen with and force it to happen with, she just runs for the fucking hills. All those deals you're trying to get in business and you're forcing them to happen, all those like jobs you want to get and you're trying to force it to work, they just run for the fucking hills. It's all about getting into this space where you really have to trust that life is on your side. This was the big unlock for me with this, because I've always just kind of had this weird feeling like it was just like programming I had, where I just thought life was like out to get me or something. Like, I thought like every time something good would happen for me, I just thought like I was just waiting for the other shoe to drop. You know, I was like, something bad's going to happen now. I'm going to be screwed. Like something like I genuinely felt like life was out to get me in this weird way. I know that doesn't make much sense, but like maybe some of you guys get that. And it was really just me having to like train myself, and I'm still training myself to realize like life is actually on my side. Life is actually out for my best interest, and like training yourself to believe that even when things don't go the way you want them to go, and realize that they're going your way in a way that you don't quite understand, right? Your ego doesn't know everything. And so when things don't go your way, you still just believe life's on your side. It doesn't change that belief. And if you can instill that belief in you that life is on your side, and learn to start letting go of control of how things go and the outcomes of things, you'll be way freer to act, and you'll be way more productive, right? Like, if you're not worried about the outcome, you'll just act, and you'll act out of inspiration because you're not trying to get anything. You start realizing like, I'm good right now where I'm at. Like, really, like, look around at your life. It's like you're alive, you're breathing, you're healthy, most likely. Like, your life's pretty good. You know, it's like, you know, I even think about now, it's like I've got big goals, but realistically, like, you give me $20 million and my life doesn't change that much. Realistically, I would still go box. I would still work out. I would still eat steak and eggs. I would still make YouTube videos. I would still work. I would still have like 2 or 3 friends. Like, my life wouldn't change that much. I would just drive a cooler car and I would travel to cooler places. That would really be the only difference. Like, and if you get that into your head and realize like if you organize your life in such a way where like it's built on inspiration, then it's like it's all good, right? And it's like it doesn't really matter. Like, truthfully, like, if I don't make $20 million, it's like, you know, I obviously want to, but I'm like, if it doesn't, like, it doesn't really matter on some level. It's like, whatever. Like, I'm just gonna enjoy my life. I'm grateful that I have this life, and I'm not gonna stress over outcomes because I trust that life has my back. And so I'm just gonna, whatever I do, I'm just gonna be inspired to do it. I'm not gonna do it out of force. I'm gonna do it out of inspiration because I want to create something cool in my life, and that's my attitude that I try to take to things. And I would really try to enforce this on my 21-year-old self. It would be fucking tough. It would be tough for him to get it. It's tough for me to get it now, but it's like, it just makes things way better. Like, your work is just so much more effective. The results you get are better. It's in a way that's hard to describe, but it's just very obviously, it just, things go way better when you're not trying to control the outcome. The third thing that would make things go a lot faster is avoiding apathy. The "I don't feel like it" energy is so common that we think it's normal, when in reality it's just apathy. Apathy is an emotion that pretty much says, what's the point? Why bother? I don't feel like it. Apathy is a shield against disappointment and the ego's fear of change. This is why when you don't feel like it, the feeling only applies to things that would get you ahead in life. You don't feel like following your diet, but for some reason you do feel like doom scrolling all day, right? Isn't that weird? It's like, you'll say you don't feel like it, you don't have any motivation, but it's like, you're clearly motivated to do some shit. It's just shit that you don't really want to do. You're clearly motivated to doom scroll all day, or watch porn, or blow your diet, or, you know, watch Netflix all day. So you clearly have some energy to do something. It's just completely unproductive shit, which would imply, you know, like, if you had no energy, if you genuinely were just like, I have no energy, you wouldn't move. You wouldn't even get out of bed. So the point is, like, you have energy. It's just that there's something going on in your head that's causing all of your energy to be diverted to shit that is completely self-destructive. And this is called apathy. Apathy comes from past failures that produced shame or sadness, or it comes from fear of changing. Either way, it's bullshit. This is a bullshit that feels so familiar to us that we think it's just how it is. But you don't have to feel apathetic. And once you get rid of apathy, every day becomes productive. Your natural state is to be productive and create things in your life, but that state is being stifled by apathy. The first step to breaking free from apathy is realizing it's not real. It's not normal. It's not a part of human life. It's a mental disease that sole purpose is to hold you back in life. This is so important to understand. Like, apathy is not real. Apathy, like, people just think, like, they think it's just normal to have days when you're not feeling it. That's not true. It's just everybody's fucking apathetic. They have a mental disease called apathy. I would describe it as a disease. It is an infection in your brain that causes you to just self-sabotage all the time and wreck yourself. It's not real. You don't have to be controlled by apathy. There are people out there who are not apathetic, like Elon Musk, I doubt is very apathetic. Like, you cannot run 8 companies at the same time and get somebody elected president if you're fucking apathetic, right? He's not apathetic. You don't have to be this way. LeBron James, I doubt, has apathy in his life. He gets up every day and just trains. Like, he's doing what he wants to do. You don't have to feel apathetic. You can get up willing and motivated to take action and inspired and creating things and just doing what needs to be done. It's not about jumping for joy and skipping through the fucking, like, yellow brick road or some shit like that. It's just you get up and you're like, let's get after it today. Let's do some shit, right? It's that kind of energy. Like, you could have that every day, but apathy is robbing you of that. Once you realize it's not real, you stop taking it seriously and it starts to fade. Throughout my early and mid 20s, apathy cost me hundreds of days where I barely got anything done. Guys, like, I would genuinely get up and I've been motivated my whole 20s. And this is how you know it's like, it's not like I was just some piece of shit crash out. It wasn't that. I wanted success. I wanted to do well. And I've only recently realized that the issue isn't that you don't need to beat yourself up for this. Cause I'd be like, man, I'm not disciplined. I'm just so lazy and all this shit. Why am I not getting this shit done? I was just so fucking apathetic. I had so much apathy in me just because of shit I had failed at in my life. I had tried to make a basketball team in high school and failed, and that just bugged me forever. I had tried businesses that didn't work. It's just like all this shit you do in your life that doesn't work out, and you don't know how to process it and handle the fact that things didn't work out for you. You don't know how to cope with it when you're younger. It's like it just hits you like this fucking wall over time, and you just like, it's just like doing anything, you run into this wall of like sadness over like how your life has gone on some level, and you're just like, fuck, like I just don't have the energy for this. And it's just like it's this super toxic energy that just builds up over time due to failure and being ashamed of yourself for things, or just like your ego, again, is afraid of success, because a lot of times that's true because success is uncertainty. And so it's a lot better to just stay in your bullshit box, right? But it's like, man, like I remember I would be like I'd get done with my job and I'd work like 4 10-hour shifts that week, and I'd be like, all right, this weekend I'm really going to work on my business. And I'd get up and just have no fucking energy to do it. I'd just be like, I just do not have this. Like, I just cannot get myself to do it. And it's just every fucking move is a fight. You know what I mean? And it's just like, you feel like a piece of shit and you're like, I'm not making progress, and you aren't. And it's like, you just think like something's wrong. You're like, I'm never going to get ahead like this. And you kind of aren't, but it's just like, you have to understand this is apathy. This is not like some intrinsic problem with you. It is an energy field. It is a mental disease that has taken over your brain, and it creeps up all the fucking time and just tears you down. And you got to understand what's happening. Be like, this is apathy. It's just a disease. It's not how it is. It feels really normal to you. But once you start noticing it now, hopefully this will give you some awareness. Like, you wake up feeling apathetic. You'll be like, oh, this is apathy. Like, why am I checking my phone every 5 seconds and I can't seem to get myself to take action? I'm fucking apathetic feeling right now. And you realize it's just bullshit. You don't have to listen to it. I would tell my 21-year-old self that not feeling like it isn't a sign that he's weak. It's a symptom of the disease called apathy. Your energy is practically unlimited once you get rid of apathy. You can tell the difference between being genuinely tired and just feeling apathetic, and it's rare to actually be tired, right? Like, if you go to the gym hard for the next 30 days, like, you'll probably be pretty fucking tired. You'll get up and you'll be like, I'm gassed, right? And it's a different feeling than apathy. because you're like, this is a feeling of like, I'm just beat tired right now and I need a day off, right? That's different than apathy. Apathy is this emotion in your body where you're just like that kind of fucking shit, right? If you work 12 hours straight on your business and your brain is gassed by the end, that's tired. That's not apathy, right? It's you, but you know the difference, and it's rare to actually get tired. Genuinely, if you're not apathetic, it's rare to be tired. Like, I have unlimited fucking energy for the most part. Like, if I just get up, like, I could probably realistically, I do take some rest days, but I could probably train for like months straight and be fine. Like, I usually train twice a day as it is right now. Like, you can just keep fucking going, especially if you're a young man, right? Like, if you're young, your testosterone's there, you're training all this shit. Like, dude, you could just go all fucking day, every day. Like this, you're not tired. You're not burnt out. You're just apathetic. And you got to realize that. Motivation is a balm that my younger self and most people use to try and cure their apathy. But watching a motivational video won't cure your apathy, but watching a motivational video to cure your apathy is kind of like taking a pill to cure a disease. The pill doesn't fix the problem, it masks it. And that's why most people can only stay motivated for a couple days before apathy crashes back in on them, right? Like, motivation is like a pill for apathy. This is why people need motivational montages. People need it because they have no motivation, because they feel apathetic deep down. I haven't watched a motivational video in months, guys, because I just don't need motivation. I get up and it's not like I'm like, rah, rah, let's get it, hooray, I'm alive. Like, it's not like I'm like fucking jumping for joy, but I'm just like, let's fucking go. Like, let's get it done, right? Like, it's just, there's no question of it, right? Like, the not feeling it thing is just bullshit. It's just weird. Like, but it's a weird disease, seriously, but most people have it, and so everybody thinks it's normal. But like, this is why, again, you'll watch a motivational video, you'll get fired up, go work out once, and then the next day comes and you're just like, right? You don't feel like it. Again, you've just dealt with bullshit all your life and you haven't coped with it well, and so now you're apathetic. We got to break this apathy. The permanent solution to apathy is the awareness that apathy is total bullshit. Once you accept that, you can actually like fix it. But if you treat it like it's valid, if you think like not feeling like it is valid, then you'll just constantly be apathetic. Once you realize, I'm like, this is dumb. Like, literally, this is kind of how it hit me over time. I was like, this is gay. I was like, I woke up, I didn't feel like, I was like, this is so fucking gay. What do you mean I don't feel like it? I think this is actually like kind of, I think there's something to this where if you want to make a big change in your life, the change actually happens. It's not when you're fighting and trying to make it happen. The change happens when you're just so fed up with it that you literally are like, this is so gay. Like, what is this? Like, I had this with my career. I was just like, didn't have money. And I was like, what do you mean I don't have money? This is so fucking stupid. Like, what? Like, I was like, this is just unacceptable. This is just like, I'm not playing this game anymore. I was like, this is dumb. Whatever this is, it's dumb. And I just stopped, right? I was just like, I'm not playing this game anymore. And it's this weird thing you get to where you're just like over it. And that's what I got with apathy. Like, if you wake up and you genuinely don't feel like it and you're like, what is this? Like, you genuinely have that expression. You're like, what the fuck am I feeling? This is gay. Like, I'm not doing this apathy shit. Like, once you get there, it's done and you won't feel apathetic anymore. It'll just go away because you've gotten enough space from it to realize it's total bullshit. You're not treating it like it's valid. Stop treating it like it's valid. It's a mental disease, and the cure is to act in spite of it. Don't try to fight it because that gives it more validity. If you're fighting apathy, that means you're treating it like it's real. Because you only fight real things, right? You're fighting an illusion, and you're making the illusion real by fighting it. What you do is you just accept that it's there and continue on with your day, realizing it has no power over you. Over time, the apathy just fades. Third thing I would tell my 21-year-old self, you've got to learn how to cope with bullshit. The last thing I'd tell my 21-year-old self is that how you handle the bullshit of life is more important than the actual fact that there is bullshit. Meaning, bullshit is inevitable, but your reaction to it will dictate its effect on your life. For example, when I was 21, I had a roommate who got dumped by his girlfriend several months before it happened to me. By all metrics, he crashed the fuck out. Got on pills, turned into a complete stoner, stopped showing up to work, and became, quote, depressed. He had been going to the gym with me for a bit and he stopped doing that too. If you were grading him on how he handled this situation, he would at best get a D minus. At least he didn't kill himself. Fast forward a few months and I had an arguably worse situation happen and I did not crash out. With everything in my life pretty much falling apart, I decided to devote myself to my fitness with more intensity because that was really all I had in my life at that point. I didn't get depressed, smoke weed, or take pills. I'm not trying to brag or even put this guy down, but it's just an easy comparison to make. Similar situations, completely different outcomes. I'd give myself a B minus for how I handled everything that happened to me at that time in my life. I did spend the next 8 months obsessively trying to prove to this girl that she had made a mistake by trying a bunch of get rich quick schemes and trying to look like I was winning on social media. So like I again, like I didn't crash the fuck out, but I was obsessively trying to make this girl regret cheating on me and dumping me, right? And so like I would just do all this short-term shit. I was just trying to get rich really fast. I was super fucking impatient and very emotional about this. And so that kept me from really giving myself like an A for how I handled this. But overall for the situation, I feel like I did a pretty solid job on it. Definitely didn't crash the fuck out. But then also you could also say this, in another reality, if I had done that, meaning I had not, wasted the time being emotional over the girl and all that stuff, I would have probably been able to get out of my situation pretty quickly because it wasn't actually as big of a deal as it felt like it was at 21, right? Like, yeah, it sucks, right? You got cheated on and dumped and friends turned their back on you and your money didn't work out. I mean, it does fucking suck. I hope it doesn't happen again, but like, it's really not that big of a deal. It's just like deal with it, right? Like just deal with shit, right? Like that's the game. And this is why I say, like, I would tell my 21-year-old self, you just got to learn to cope with shit. That's life, right? You got to cope with shit. It's just shit's coming at you. And like the more like the ultimate man is the guy who just like all hell breaks loose in his life and he's just unfazed, right? Like Andrew Tate, when he was like, imagine shooting a man with your last bullet and he stands there unfazed, right? Like that's man shit, right? Just you get shot with their last bullet and you just don't give a fuck, right? And so like I'd really like, again, for 21 years old, I think I handled it pretty well. But again, like it really wasn't even that big of a deal. And that's the other part about coping with shit is like once you cope with something, you get done. You're like, that really isn't that big of a fucking deal. You know what I mean? Like you're fine. You're alive. And this gives you more of that confidence I was talking about with not controlling things to realize like, hey, if this doesn't work out, I'll be fine. All right. Like, and once you get that confidence going, you're going to feel a lot better and you can handle shit a lot better. So here you can see 3 different reactions to similar bullshit and see how your reaction to the inevitable bullshit is what matters more than the fact that the bullshit exists. Handling bullshit is a skill that is developed through reps. I hope I don't have to go through all that again, but I'm quite confident if I did, I would handle it pretty easily. My tolerance for bullshit has gone up the more I've dealt with it. The thing I would tell my 21-year-old self is that the art of handling bullshit comes down to accepting it. Most of the pain of bullshit comes from thinking it shouldn't be this way. If you just accept that the bullshit exists, you stop complaining about it and just deal with it. When you do this, bullshit becomes pretty easy to deal with most of the time. Another example of this, guys, is COVID. During COVID, the average person gained 27 pounds. They were anxious as fuck, crashed out. What I did with a friend of mine is we went and we got sandbags, like heavy sandbags and those really thick black trash bags. And we made these basically like these makeshift kettlebells out of them. And we went down to a soccer field because our gym was closed. And we just started training with that. And we were doing like sprints and all these exercises and shit. We got in better shape than we were in. And it's like same stimulus, different response. Same bullshit, different reaction to bullshit, producing different results. One person gained 27 pounds, crashes the fuck out. One person goes and gets in better shape. It's literally just about how do you handle bullshit. You got to understand this, like the obstacle is the way is the mindset. That was literally a book I read at the time. It was really game changing for me. The obstacle is the way. When you have that mindset in place, you're just going to you're going to handle shit so much better. And so it's really important to think that way. These 3 lessons combined would have probably allowed me to get where I am today, probably at 24. If I could add a bonus, I would tell my 21-year-old self, once you see a jack dude in a tank top named Alex Hormozy show up on YouTube, drop everything and do whatever he says. So there's a little funny thing, but honestly, Alex Hormozy's been a game changer for me. But like, real talk, guys, like if I had just done these things, like again, it's like I said for step 1, it's going to take a long fucking time, but it can go a lot faster if you just handle your shit. And so I hope these lessons will help you guys wherever you're at in your life. Thanks for watching. Be sure to like and subscribe, and I'll talk to you later.